All right, this is the last one this week. I'm just going to jump in and go for it. This is the DevRev. We're talking about developer freedom. I got this email from Tim, and I just found this really, really inspiring, and I wanted to share it. Now, I'm going to be honest. This is freedom. This is what we're talking about, right? I get some people that think, okay, freedom means that I make a ton of money and I can go travel the world and blah, 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 right? And for some people that totally is, right? That's part of my definition of freedom, is that I want to travel. I want to do stuff with my family and have these experiences with them. But I got an email from Tim, and he basically said, hey, Chuck, I listened to your podcast. I'm not going to read this whole email because it's really long. And, I don't want to share a bunch of personal details. But he says, I listened to your podcast recently, started getting your emails. They are so relevant. Wow, like on Monday, I stayed home from an optional teacher in-service day that paid an extra $500 to have time to focus on code I'm writing for my students. The same day, you sent me an email about freedom and welcome to the revolution. How fitting you sent that email on that very day. My colleague thinks I'm crazy for not going to an optional training day to get paid extra, but my challenge is time management between teaching, programming, and spending time with my family. Right. So this is common stuff, right? This is stuff that you run into. This is stuff that everybody's dealing with. I guess if you're single, you're not as worried about spending time with family. Maybe you are. I don't know. But he has a job. His job is not programming. And so he's trying to balance all of this stuff, right? It seems the time I write most of the code is on extended vacations, where I'll have many commits on GitHub, then weeks and months go by with few commits because I'm so busy as a teacher and with my family. Anyway, he teaches at a middle school, and it's kind of a rough area, right? It's kind of a poor area. He describes it as maybe a little bit more than kind of a poor area. A lot of folks in the area, I guess, wind up in jail. And so, it's all so dysfunctional is kind of what he says. But at the same time, he says most of his students are wonderful and really want to do their best. And, the kids are wonderful. And this, again, I have a brother-in-law that worked down in Fort Worth Independent School District. And he had some kids that were in some really, really, really poor, not great situation, right? And again, they're great kids, great kids, right? And so, it's not their fault that they're poor. It's not their fault that they have some of these struggles in life. But the other end of it is that, this is what turns him on. This is what cranks him up to a 10. He loves these kids. He wants to serve these kids. He wants to help, do the best he can for them. And he's using code to do that. And that to me is freedom, right? So if I wanted to go work in soup kitchens when I wasn't coding and I was able to do that, that's freedom to me, right? And coding is part of that freedom because it affords me the opportunity to go and do what I want. And so, for me, it's the family time, it's the travel, it's the having new experiences that really kind of turns me on, and also making a difference for other people. So what fires me up is when I get out there and I have somebody come back with what I put out there and say, hey, you made a difference for me, right? Hey, you helped me get a job. Hey, my kid, we moved to a nicer house in a nicer neighborhood. Hey, I'm able to spend more time at home, and, my wife or my kid really needed it. That's the payoff, right? And people from all walks of life have some of these concerns. And but it turns out, and I found this was really interesting, he's a full-time teacher. And I'm not even getting the idea that he's like a code teacher. Like he doesn't teach computers necessarily. I don't know what he teaches. I didn't get that from this email. But anyway, so he said, as an example of my programming, I built an app to send automated yet personalized messages to parents. So then for the Friday before Thanksgiving, he sent out about 250 text messages to the families, letting them know that, your kid has blah, blah, blah GPA. So, a 3.0 or 3.1, 3.2 or a 2.0 or whatever, right? And then, just it gives them a little bit of encouragement, hey, wow, that's great. Or, you're doing great. She's passing. Tell her to keep working hard. And the way that he can do this, the way that he can, because, some of the kids saw the messages and it made them feel really good about things and gave them the confidence to keep trying. And so if he can inspire those kids to do better by using code, you know, what are we doing? And I'm not saying that necessarily the commercial application of code is wrong, or that there are better ways to spend your effort. What I am saying is that there are opportunities out there for us to do the things that light us up. And if, you know, making money is what lights you up, I mean, go out there and write the code that makes you freaking money. And if writing code that helps some students feel good about themselves lights you up, go do that. But this to me is kind of the ultimate idea behind what we're trying to do here, and what the revolution is about. It's not about, oh, well, I hate my job and I hate my boss, or, you know, I wish I could sit on the couch and watch soccer all day. What it really is about, it's about, okay, what fires you up? What really gets you going? What really gets you excited? You know, if you could go do something and make a difference in some area of the world every day, you know, some area of society every day, you know, if you could go do this one thing every day, what would it be? And then how can being a programmer help you get there, right? What is in that skill set? And it could be money. It could be freedom. It could be the kind of job you have where it lets you go home at a certain time of day so you can go contribute to the other thing. But, you know, what is it? What can we do to make it so that you writing code gets you the kind of life that you want? That's the revolution. That's it right there. And this embodied that so much, because, you know, he basically says he wants to make the app more motivating and engaging. He wants other teachers to use it to connect to their families and to the school. But he gets home and he's tired. He's so freaking tired, right? And instead of going home and just like crashing on the couch, he thinks to himself, I'll have time to, you know, thinking I'll have time to code tonight. And then he's tired, and his wife and kids want to spend time with them, but he's still figuring out how to make that balance work. But in the meantime, he's doing it because it means something to him. So, I mean, that's what we're talking about here, folks. That's what this is about, is how do we get there so that we're writing code that matters to us, or, you know, we're building a career that allows us to do the things that matter to us. So really think about that. Think about the freedom. I'd love to see a comment on Facebook or YouTube, but let me know, seriously, what is it? What is it that turns you on? What is it that turns you up to 11? You know, is it your church? Is it politics? Is it something in your community? Is it your family? I mean, what is it? What is it that turns you on and lights you up? And then think about, okay, what am I doing to get there? And, you know, how does this particular skill apply to it? Because coding is so general in its application that you almost literally can apply it to anything. So that's what I want to know. What fires you up? What lights your fire? And how are you going to get there? And what can we do when we talk about this stuff on shows like DevRev or JavaScript Jabber or Ruby Rogues or Adventures in Angular or React Native Radio or any of the other ones that we do? What can we talk about on there that will allow you to get there? You know, we can talk about some of the tools to build the app that you need to build to do it. We can talk about some of the techniques. We can talk about some of the ideas behind open sourcing it or not open sourcing it, or licensing it, or whatever. But we need to know what it is that you're trying to do, and then we need to know what we can talk about that you need to learn about, so that we can get that content out there, so that we can open up the world of possibilities to you. So that's it. That's the core of the message. And, you know, I really appreciate Tim kind of opening up and talking about this with me. And yeah, I emailed him before I put this out there and just said, hey, can I share this? But you know, it's so critical to find that thing that gets you going. And if you haven't found it yet, that's fine. And maybe we'll do an episode on how to find that. But I mean, for me, ultimately, it's helping you. It's, you know, it's, oh, well, I was able to, you know, make the difference I wanted to make. I feel like podcasting is another way that people can go out and make a difference in the world the way that they want to do. And I'm working on some stuff on that, right? And again, it's me empowering people. And that fires me up. You know, that's why I was yelling and screaming a couple episodes ago about just getting the freaking work done, is because it fires me up. It's like, look, There's no excuse. There's no excuse for not getting what you want. So go out there and figure it out. And it can be noble, it can be selfish, it can be personal, it can sound crazy to the rest of the world, but what is it to you? And how do we get there? All right. That's it for this week, folks. I'll be back next week with more of these. And I'm really, really looking forward to you. Send me an email, chuck@devchat.tv, if you have a question that I can answer on the show. You can also tweet at me, use the hashtag DevRev. We're also on Facebook. I've been posting these to the devchat.tv page, but I'm probably going to get a DevRev page up soon, and the RSS feed should be up within the next week. So yeah, just go out and do it. Go find it. Go do it. Go own it.